in the last year of the contract is a death sentence. Clay just saw millions float away. He did. He did. The way they have changed, the way the Supermax contracts are handled, the way they have changed contracts are handled and done, he is eliminated from making the most possible money you can make. Now, look, compared to all of us, the money he's going to make is going to be fine. So he'll be fine. But obviously, you want to capitalize on how much money you can make. You want to capitalize on that because you only have so much time playing a professional sport, and you could be injured at any point in time in your life. And maybe you want to do this for a certain amount of years. But either way, Clay will be good, but it probably is frustrating for him because he could have probably indefinitely got more money. So that's the all-NBA teams. Talked about the all-rookie team, all-defensive team. Shout out to Joe from Houston in the building. Thank you for tuning in. I agree the contract is horrible, but you know a team will take CP3. My pop says, I agree, son. If Kawhi's healthy and with his finals experience, the experience of Gasol and Ibaka should get them past the Bucks the way they were defending Giannis. Yeah, Giannis has to figure out a way. Or the flip side is Giannis has 12 other teammates, or whatever other teammates he has, they have to contribute. If Giannis isn't doing it, someone else has to do something. You cannot have Giannis scoring 24, Bledsoe scoring 20. You got Lopez with 16, Brogdon with 18. Chris Middleton is going to have to put in more. Mirotic, we need you. Ilyasova, they need you. So it cannot be all on Giannis' shoulders, though, either. That's why you have a team. That's why it's not just one person. So, Game 6 coming up tomorrow. Other news around in sports. A great hiring was announced this week. And that was none other than Juwan Howard becoming the coach of Michigan. John Beilein ended up going to the Cavs. Juwan Howard was in the running for the Lakers job and I think the Cavs job too. Looks like he got passed up or maybe he declined it, how it went. But I love this. I love Juwan Howard becoming the coach of Michigan, a member of the Fab Five, one of the well-known Michigan Wolverine players. I mean, it doesn't really get any better than that unless you had Jalen Rose or Chris Webber coach the team. I love this. I love this because it's his alma mater. Also, he's qualified to do this. He is qualified to do it. I think he's going to do a great job. I think he can recruit. Now, he hasn't dealt with recruiting, but he's Juwan Howard. He's an alumni. He also has NBA experience. And I think players will gravitate towards him more so than a guy that hasn't been in the NBA because they may not know what it takes to get there. Now, also, I'll say this. You look at Memphis. You look at what Penny Hardaway has been doing. He's got a top recruiting class. Jerry Stackhouse just went to Vanderbilt. No, that's not his alma mater. But I would say this. I don't want to think ahead, but if Jerry Stackhouse does a great job at Vanderbilt, Roy Williams has to retire sooner or later. And I would love to see Jerry Stackhouse as the coach of my North Carolina Tar Heels. I would love to see that. I think that would be great. Shout out to Mo Cheese. Thank you for tuning in. Courtney says Michigan Fab Five is back together. Jalen and C-Web buried their needle. And we're gonna see the Fab Five in attendance at multiple games. They're probably going to be in the locker room. This is not only huge for Juwan Howard, but huge for Michigan. So I can't say enough about this hire. I think he deserves it, and I'm happy. I'm not a Michigan fan, but I'm happy that he's getting this opportunity. So Jalen Rose commented and said, Fab Five reuniting like Voltron And he said everything else is in the past. Everything else is in the past, and I think they're going to move forward. And I actually think Michigan's going to have one of the top recruiting classes in the nation. I really don't see why not, because I think Juwan Howard has the pieces and the tools to be able to do it. Pat Riley taught him well, and he would do a great job at Michigan. Thank you for that comment, Mocha. And you're right. I agree with you 100%. You learn. This is not just in sports, but in life. You learn from different people. You take in what you learn from them. You use that in whatever area of life. And for Juwan Howard, he's learned from multiple different players and people, coaches. So let's put it all to good use. You know, Patrick Ewing at Georgetown, a lot of these guys going back to their alma mater, I think that is good for the sport. That is good for basketball, especially good for college basketball, to see these young players. This is a guy that's been here. He's been here. He's done it. May or may not have won an NBA championship. Maybe or may not won an MVP. But they have a lot of knowledge that they can share to these young men, which is the most important part. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we got some NFL news. Also, if anybody has any questions, you can put those in the chat room. I will definitely answer those, whatever question you may have. Also, what are you guys doing this Memorial Day weekend? We get that Monday off. So I'm expecting everyone to enjoy it in some way, shape, or form. So we'll be right back. You're tuned into the BS3 Sports Show right here on X Squad Radio.
We all hate when we have unexpected car problems. Well, I'm here to tell you about a viable solution. Bay 11 Auto and my man Melvin. You have emission problems? Brakes need changing? Transmission slipping? Is your car just driving sluggish? No problem is too big. I live on the other side of town and I drive over an hour to a guy that I trust. Melvin is honest, dependable, and definitely not in the business to break your pockets. Come see the official mechanic Melvin at Bay 11 Auto. You will be glad you did. You can reach him at 1455 General Arts Road, Conyers, Georgia, or 404-295-5715. That's 404-295-5715.
Being good at life means getting your finances together so you can focus on the moments that matter most. With over 170 years of expertise, New York Life Insurance Company provides you with benefits you can enjoy while you're, well, living. So give me, Doug Stewart, your local New York Life agent, a call. I can help you build a solid financial future to help you and your family be good at life. You can reach me at 678-770-8073 or look for me at newyorklife.com.
Welcome back to the BS3 Sports Show, featuring a beat in the background by Maestro Styles, co-host of the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. Appreciate him sending over some beats. Comments, Sid Galloway says, I gotta work Memorial Day. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so, Sid Galloway. Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you still get to enjoy it. I used to work at Home Depot, and I worked there for 10 years. We had to work every single holiday except Thanksgiving and Christmas, so I know what you feel. And we had to be there on the holidays at like 5 in the morning because we had sales and we had people coming in early, especially Black Friday. You know how crazy that was. So hopefully you still get to enjoy it. Shout out to D Great, the greatest in the building. Thank you for tuning in. James Harden and CP3 are too focused on nailing the State Farm commercials than three-pointers. You got a good point. And the commercials are good. I'm sure they get paid pretty good money. But it's not a good look when you're losing the game and then your commercial comes on and you look so excited. I mean, it is kind of ironic that their commercials are still playing and they're not in the playoffs anymore. But when it comes down to it, I honestly think the problem is more so D'Antoni. There is a curse on Mike D'Antoni. Every single team, I've said this so many different times, I sound like a broken record, but every single team that's coached by D'Antoni cannot win. They cannot do it. Every single season, they look great. Regular season, they look great. All those years with the Suns, they looked great. But they cannot do it. I think a huge part of it is defense. I think a huge part of it is the whole team depends on James Harden to win them games. When the game's on the line, when the first through the third quarter, everything's great. You got Eric Gordon putting in. You have Clint Capella putting in. When it gets to the fourth quarter, I don't know if this is James Harden's choice or this is the player's choice or whoever's choice, but James Harden ends up being the one with the ball in his hands. Courtney says, visit a family in upstate New York, barbecue ribs, burgers, and hot dogs. Enjoy it. Somebody got to drive this trash truck. I hear you. Said. Time and a half, though, should be gravy for you. Cowboys going undefeated. Says the greatest. And yeah, I was laughing at that statement too, Mocha. And I'm a Cowboys fan. So that says something. But as you bring up the Cowboys, perfect timing. Perfect timing, D Great, as you bring up the Cowboys because they're in the news as they're looking to sign everyone. Now, I said this at work the other day. I don't see them being able to sign everybody. Everybody wants a max deal. And I don't think anyone's going to take a discount. I do think Dak's going to get his deal done first. Second, it's between Amari Cooper and Dak and Zeke, which maybe Zeke gets his and maybe Amari's the odd man out. Maybe Zeke's the odd man out. But one of these guys I don't think is going to be on the team long term. Jerry Jones says NFL probably won't punish Zeke. If you've seen the video, which was very interesting because, obviously he was walking side by side with his girlfriend. Then he comes over to the security guy. He gives the guy the lightest forearm shiver that I have ever seen in my entire life. And this dude falls over. It didn't look like a flop. It looks like the dude just tripped over the guardrail. You're walking backwards and you don't know what's behind you. He just looked like he tripped over the guardrail, and Zeke helped him trip over the guardrail. Now, at the end of the day, Roger Goodell is going to make the final decision. No one else, not Jerry Jones, not Stephen Jones, not anybody else, but Roger Goodell is going to make that decision on if he gets suspended. I personally don't think this is a instance where you should get suspended. But again, I'm not Roger Goodell, and I'm not the NFL. And Zeke's been in trouble before. So will they come back around and suspend him for this? I don't think so, but you can't count past anybody. So who do you think is the odd man out? And I want to hear from the greatest first. Do you think they're going to sign Dak, Zeke, and Amari? Or do you think there's an odd man out? Because the other part of it is, too, Jalen Smith, I think he deserves a contract. I think Byron Jones is gone. You already got the DeMarcus Lawrence deal done. So you're going to be looking at Van Der Esch in the next couple of years. But your main people are those three, which they seeming to be working on a contract right now. Now, look, just because it comes out in the story that they're working on a contract doesn't mean that they're close on a contract. Doesn't mean that they're coming to an agreement. It doesn't even mean that they even talked. They could just be working on numbers. So that's a fluff story to get the Cowboys in the news. I think they are working. Maybe the Cowboys working through the numbers or whatever it may be. But I just don't think all three of those guys can get a large contract unless one of them will be willing to take a discount.